Good morning, guys. Welcome to TMXC Adventures. Lisa here. It's a bit cold today at my house. I don't know how it is at yours, but it is blowing a gale and cold. So I have my hot coffee and we're going to do some cooking this morning, just getting some snacks ready for the kids. It is the beginning of school holidays here in Queensland. Those of you who are on my mailing list, you're going to get an email from me in the next, hopefully this afternoon, or maybe tomorrow. And it's actually got a downloadable for particularly getting your kids or your grandkids or young people around you, or maybe even your other half, cooking with a Thermomix. It's just a really great place. There are a suggestion of recipes that are a great place to start your Thermomixing. So if maybe you're the primary person who uses the Thermomix, this is a great selection of recipes that they can confidently give a go to, all right? Also on that note, before I cook today, this weekend on Saturday, I have a cook along. Okay, we are making ricotta and ricotta gnocchi together. Again, a great chance for not just you, but maybe a family member, a child, a grandchild, even a friend, to come over to your house, be guided through learning how to make gnocchi, and you can make it gluten-free if you need to as well. So being able to do that together, show them the Thermomix. So if it was, your child or grandchild or other half, they're learning the skills of using a Thermomix, but maybe it's somebody who's just been curious. Maybe you've taken food to their home and they're like, oh, what is this? How did you do it? And they're kind of new to Thermomix. It's a great chance as well to get them to come to your place. You guys can play on your Thermomix and I can guide you through that. So if you want the details for that, comment below. I will share that with you. So that's coming up on the 21st of September. Okay, so remember as well, engage in some way. Like, share, subscribe if you're watching replays on YouTube as well. But otherwise, let's get into this recipe. This is a great recipe. I was actually sitting there this morning going, oh, what am I going to make today? And you know what? Even as a Thermomix user of 11 years, I still fall into a rut sometimes and I'm like, oh, what am I going to make? Okay, so if you sometimes go through that season, you're not alone. I think we actually all do. So what did I do? I sat and I scrolled, sitting in bed through Cookidoo, and I was like, oh, what do I feel like? And I think I was looking for something brand new to share with you guys. But then sometimes familiarity is where the comfort comes, right? So I was like, oh, and I want something the kids eat, and we haven't shopped for the fortnight. Tonight is shopping night. I also don't have my new order of food coming through until the end of this week. So, we're a little short on the stocks that we would normally have on hand in our kitchen as well. And I was like, ah. And I scrolled and I scrolled and I went through my collections, and collections are important. I actually think I looked at the one that we've got I've created a collection called Kids Savory Snacks, I think it is. So like I've got a sweets one, but I try not to cook from that too often. And then I've got the savory one, and that's where I then stumbled. And actually, maybe this was the sweets. It's kind of got a date in it. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it was healthy. I'm not even sure now. But I went through collections. That was actually where I stumbled across this. And collections are really important. As you go through your Cookidoo, that's how you organize things into essentially folders that make sense to you. So also, the other reason they're important is they store in the memory of your machine. If Cookidoo is down for maintenance, you take your Thermomix on holidays to, the place you're going with your family and friends. You don't need to set up the Wi-Fi. You'll be able to search using the magnifying glass that's on. I'm just going to go show you where the magnifying glass is. Let me just go start cooking. I just wanted to remember my recipe. See this magnifying glass on the top right corner? You barely ever will use that except when the Wi-Fi is down. Or there's non-connection issues to Cookidoo. That will search the memory of the machine. How cool is that? All right, back to this recipe. Let's get cracking on this recipe. It's such a quick recipe. I do have some changes today as well, so keep an eye out for those. I'll explain my thinking behind it and my hope. 150 grams of mixed seeds, sesame, pumpkin, sunflower. Thankfully, I still have seeds. I do not have almonds. I do not have walnuts left. We have used them right now. So I do have pepitas. Okay, green pepitas. I'm just going to go for about the halfway, a little bit over, 150 at once. I then have my sunflower seeds. Sunflower? Yeah, let's get them all mixed up. I shouldn't by this time. I should know this. It says pecan nuts. Oh, sorry, it's a bit blurry. Pecan nuts are really quite expensive where I am. I don't know about you. Typically, we use walnuts. They're a little bit cheaper. Today, I've got cashews. I've actually got some organic cracked cashews, and I'm going to use that because actually that's all I've still got left. Um, we used to have a pecan tree as a kid. I think I took it for granted. Same with the macadamias. You know, it's another thing that's actually quite expensive. We've actually recently planted a macadamia. I know it's a long-term investment to plant a macadamia tree. And before we moved 3 years ago, we planted the year prior a pecan, can you believe? But anyway, that's all right. Okay, now we've got some absorbent things. We've got chia seeds. If you don't have chia, my camera's having a hard time today. Sorry, guys. So, every time I turn, it must be trying to focus on something. I'll have to have a play. If you don't have chia seeds, you can use flax. Flax is in this recipe as well, but you just cover the other one with the, you know, they're completely interchangeable. The way they work, they're interchangeable. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of chia. I've got black, white will do fine. I actually think I want to make over the next few days, because it is a slower few weeks for us, even though we homeschool the next 2 weeks, we tend to hang around home a bit more. We don't go out so much because all the beaches and stuff are busy around us. I know I've got to jump on, I'm talking about beaches. It's supposed to be 30 degrees by Friday, okay? But I like to have these 2 weeks as still a bit of a downtime where, you know, all our usual activities are off, but I like to know in the mornings, hey, I've got these things ahead of, like, I've got the food organized. It's a bit like when you go camping, right? You don't want to be thinking, what's my next meal? I have to get something out. Like, it's kind of like you've already got it organized, and that's kind of how we do this as well. So this is our golden linseeds. I actually have a selection of both yellow and brown in here. It's 2 tablespoons again. These seem to last eternity. If you ever get a chance to buy them discounted in bulk, same with chia seeds. And where I was going with the chia seeds is coconut chia puddings. That's actually something I want to make and have some ready to go so that we can just have it on hand, you know, a bit like the yogurt, have it always there. Kids are hungry, get some yogurt, you know, dice up some cater. So the coconut, almonds, dates, almonds. We wouldn't use almonds, we'd use the cashews because that's what we've got on hand, or the seeds, but you know, then put that on top and things like that. So I'd like to just have that constant, like, availability of stuff. Okay, on with the lid. Mind you, bearing in mind I'm feeding 4 children, you're probably not feeding 4 necessarily, right? Okay, 3 seconds, speed 7. Spin around. Done. How quick is that? Okay, transfer to a bowl and set aside. I'm going to skip that. Let's give it a go. It's been a while since I made this recipe, which I do love. Now, 75 grams of coconut oil. I do not have coconut oil. I actually thought I might swap in peanut butter. I do not have peanut butter. We had a peanut butter. So I was like, okay, I could do melted butter, but it doesn't specifically say whether it wants butter, like liquid coconut oil or solid coconut oil. The reason I say butter is you're going for something that's a bit flavorless. If you put into this, and I'm assuming when it says coconut oil, it's meaning the melted form. So the thinking behind this is you want something flavorless. Otherwise, olive oil is going to shine through. You can't do something like an olive oil in this or an avocado oil. What you can use is a sunflower seed oil, which I'll grab out. Sunflower seed is very neutral, which we like. I'm now looking at this, regretting adding it to my order that's coming in this week because there's not much of it. I'm going to go light on it, okay, because this doesn't solidify like you'd expect coconut oil. You know, coconut oil is very seasonally different. So in winter it freezes, in summer it's liquid, okay. When this goes to set, I would assume that they would be thinking that the coconut oil will set a little bit, right? So butter would probably work well if you had butter melted for this recipe for that reason. But you do need the oils as well to release the oils in the seeds and the nuts. So anyway, let's see if it works, okay? I'll let you know, certainly, I always do, if it doesn't work, okay? So that's my thinking behind it. Okay, 30 grams of cocoa powder. In this goes. Again, something that once you can buy in bulk kind of seems to last a long time. This core part of the recipe though is dates. Okay, so in a second you're going to see the dates. 370 grams. I don't know if I've actually got enough. Now, if you only have dried dates, just soak them in some boiling water for as long as you've got. If you've only got 20 minutes because you're setting up, getting organized to cook or something like that, that's okay. Even if you've only got 5 minutes, boil the jug, put the water over them, let them absorb in, and then strain them out through your simmering basket. You can keep that liquid, that water liquid. It's kind of got a datey flavor, and use that later if you'd like. But I've got my dual dates, so they're fine to go. Okay, it says approximately 20 halved. I didn't halve them. Hopefully that's okay. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. In essence, we're kind of making like a big bliss ball slice. And I reckon you could turn these into bliss balls. I am hoping that it works, the fact that I didn't take the dry ingredients out. We'll see, fingers crossed. I like taking shortcuts. So 20 seconds on speed 3. I feel like when I made this a fair long time ago, it did, okay? It did work. On speed 3, it's not going to demolish those dates, but it asks for water in a second, which I better have a look and see if I've got. Right, I've got a tap. I just remembered it. Now that will not have chopped up my dates, right? Speed 3 is not a chopping speed. So what we're going to do, we're going to get the water in, and if it's not spinning it up shortly to a higher speed to dice them down, it's going to have to be about 8, I'm going to guess. Have a look. Can you see how there's big hunks of dates in there? If it doesn't go fast enough, we're going to manually override it. Okay, so 50 to 100 grams of water. Yeah, we'll go less, yeah? It's easier to add more water later than wish you changed your mind and did it the other way. Okay, let's see what speed we're using here. 20 seconds, speed 3. So we're going to go past speed 3. We will start with speed 3 until it gets to speed, because you have to stop there. It won't let you straight away spin round. And then I'm going to take it up to speed probably 8 or 9. Okay, so keep an eye out, see what I do. It's just that I don't have to tip inside that mix, yeah? So I'm aiming to demolish those dates. That's what we're going for here. That's what I wanted. I was going to stop it. There was no point. It was like a second ago. That's what I was hoping for. That free spin telling me that most of it, now some will still be a few chunks, but I reckon most will now be quite smooth, which is what we're looking for. Look at that. I love it when that happens. Tip into a large bowl with the seeds and mix with the spatula. See, this is what I'm avoiding. If I cannot hand mix something and, you know, have another bowl dirty, then awesome. What I want to do though is I just want to check if there's any large dates left. Chances are there may be 1 or 2, because then that's sticking to the sides. Usually it's the fine stuff that starts sticking to the sides. If you've ever made like a seed butter or a nut butter, you know that happens. But occasionally we have quite a bit of mix in here. I am betting there'll be a couple of large dates still in here, because I didn't also cut them in half, remember? Again, shortcutting. So is that a date? There's a half a date or a portion of a date. So all we're going to do is we're going to scrape down the sides, move it around a bit, and I'm going to show you a couple of tips for that free spin, okay? Because you'll get the free spin when you are making, it's looking pretty good though. It's probably 75%, 80% done. We'll come back to the recipe in a second. So if you're making those seed and nut butters, you'll sometimes find that it free spins. So we may get that in a second. I want to take you through some tips. So up to speed 8 again. Free spinning. First things first, spatula. That worked, and I'm pretty confident, and I could be wrong, but I reckon that my dates are demolished. The spatula may not work for you. If you are doing a small amount of maybe peanut butter or cashew butter or seed butter in the bottom, the spatula is not going to reach it. The spatula is designed to stop at the collar so that you don't cut the spatula on the blades. Please don't use any other spatula in there. So it's designed for that. But if you don't have much food in there, there's a chance, especially on like your butters and stuff, that they're going to get stuck to the side. What you need to do is stop the Thermomix, scrape down the sides like we did before, and then start at a lower speed and work your way up to speed gradually. Okay, and if at any point it starts free spinning, which by the way, free spinning doesn't harm your Thermomix at all. Okay, it's not like a cheap blender. You know, traditional blenders, I know the ones I had before Thermomix days, if you let them free spin for any period of time, the heat created eventually, well, not even eventually, very quickly started smelling like something was burning and would go, right? And you get the spark and that was it, your blender was dead. The Thermomix doesn't have that in it. It does not have those parts like that. It's made with magnets and they repel each other. So you're not creating that heat, that friction that then creates that. So we don't ever have that issue. A free spin on a Thermomix is not an issue whatsoever as far as the Thermomix goes. It just means nothing's actually happening. Your food's stuck to the sides, yeah? So anyway, let me have a look. Let's have a look at these dates, see if there's any remaining. It's like a third of a date. Let's go one more time. Let's get the food back to the blades. Actually, we'll use the Thermomix spatula just because it's a bit more rigid to get the food down. And then, at the bottom, look at this. The stuff that's been in the blades, it's ready to go. All right. One more go. And yeah, I reckon these as well. Talking about bliss balls before, these would be making awesome bliss balls. So just push any remaining like visible dates down. Okay, you want them in at the blades. It looks beautiful though. It's just a couple. You can see one sitting there. See it there? Mind you, if I cut that into my slice, whichever child gets that is going to think it's amazing. It's not a terrible thing. All right, I'm going to go to speed 7 this time just because I think it'll free spin out to the sides. Come on. Now that's not going to damage my Thermomix so long as I don't let it go too long, okay? So at the moment, it's just doing the jiggle, forward, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. You don't want to leave it go too long because it's not going to go anywhere. All right, now it wants to go. Thermomix is a little different. It's going to have a sip of coffee. I missed that. It's because I pushed everything down around those blades, okay? And remember, this was designed to be mixed in a bowl. With the Thermomix, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the hunks up a bit so it can start spinning. The Thermomix is different though, right? It likes to, as if you're driving a car, put your foot to the floor. Wants to accelerate fast. So the trick to fixing that problem is actually go to speed 10, let it accelerate, wait for it, it's going to go, there it is, and now back down. Okay? That's what we want. So the trick to that problem where your blades can't actually activate because there's too much food, normally solid-ish food like bliss balls or dough, is actually to accelerate them fast, but be ready to within the second, pull it back. Okay, so that's done. How exciting. All right, back to the recipe to see how we finish it. So back here, I missed the step. Transfer to prepared tin, press down firmly with the back of a spoon. So I have just got a glass Pyrex dish here. As I said, you could be rolling this into bliss balls. I reckon that would be very yummy. I'm going to just move my coffee out the way. I'm going to spin you around and let's put it in this container together. There we go. All right. I just shoved a bit of crumb off the bench in there if you're wondering what's in my container already. So you can now choose how thick you'd like this to go. You can see what it looks like. There you go. It is like one big bliss ball. Yum. Get all the mix out of the bottom. And it just wants you to push it down firmly because a bit like bliss balls, it relies on that contact. This does not get cooked. This just gets set. If you're in a hurry to give this to someone because they're hungry, just get them to roll bliss balls. Okay, now that oil content looked like it worked really well. If yours is really crumbly at this point, and this is really, I guess, the nature of working with seeds and nuts is your texture will be different to my texture. If you've gone and used walnuts or pecans in here instead of cashews, they are going to give you a different outcome to what I've got. Even seasonally, the nuts have a different oil content. So we're working with a natural product. So you may need more water at this point in time. You may look at that yours and it's all crumbly and it doesn't come together and you need to put more water into it. You might look at yours and go, oh my gosh, it's really oily. Okay, you've just over-processed it. That's okay. I normally, and it's very rare that happens, but if I've ever got that and it's happened, I actually just get a paper towel and put a paper towel on top and sop up the oil off the top. So it's, it's not a big deal. All right, you can see how yummy this is. I'm just pushing it down with the back of my spatula, taking those sides down to become part of it. You can also put it into the muesli bar molds from the mix shop, the silicone ones. Perfect for that if you want to do that. And then we just push it down. You guys, sorry if I'm a little off the camera there. There you go. Spread it around so it's flat on top. And in the fridge to set. Now, as I said, if you're desperate for it, it doesn't need, it's pretty texturally sound. It will set a little bit, but that's why you can make some bliss balls, roll them in coconut, and you're good to go with this mix as well. So there you go. Look at that. Done. That is your multi-seed cocoa bars from Cookidoo. And I'll just tell you the end of the recipe. Get you back up here. Pretty much says cover and place in the fridge for 30 minutes. Slice into bars, wrap in greaseproof paper or roll, and serve stored in the fridge for up to 5 days. And I reckon it would freeze really nicely as well. Hello, and lovely to see you on. Hey, Andrea, you too. So that's it. Give these multi-seed bars a go. As I showed you, swap in what you've got. Probably your dates, the only thing that you could use or try something like sultanas in there. I wouldn't put all of it as sultanas. I think you'd have to like sultanas a lot. I have done recipes where I've swapped in the dates instead of sultanas instead of dates, wrong way around. But sultanas have quite a unique, strong flavor, right? So you'd be wanting to be a half and a half, or even figs and things like that. So your dried, sweeter things, apricots, you could try as well. I reckon you could be using any of those in here. Certainly would work and be really tasty. So let's just have a look. Anne's made the Chinese sesame sauce. Yum. That is beautiful. That is a gorgeous recipe. We've often done that double so that we've got leftovers to trickle over veggies the next few days and stuff. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. Let me know if I can support you with your Thermomix. There is an awesome offer on at the moment until the 23rd of September, where you can actually get a blade, cover peeler, a Thermomix cutter, and a mix shop voucher at the moment from Thermomix in Australia. A super generous offer. And those of you with the TM31, and by the way, this is an Australian offer. I know there's a lot of you who are watching from other countries. Sorry, Australian offer. And if you've got a TM31 and you would like a TM6 on the bench, as well as your TM31, even if your TM31 is broken, even if you bought it secondhand, you were gifted it, it doesn't even matter. You can actually get a discount on that TM6 with all those extra bonuses at the moment. So let me know if you'd like to talk more about that. If you live in Australia, I would absolutely be honoured to help you get a Thermomix on the bench and get the most out of it going forward as well. Please don't let your friends and family go to the website and check out without a consultant name in, okay? Please, please, please. Make sure they're going through a consultant. Keep us in the forefront of your mind. And thank you to those of you, I know there's a 60% sale in the mix shop for a couple more days as well. And thank you to those of you who are remembering to check that your consultant's name is displayed before checking out. It really does help us as consultants to be able to show up for you and do things like this and help you get more out of your Thermomix. So thank you so much for your support and thinking of us and taking the time. It is always that time, hey, that, having to search for someone's name and things like that. So thank you. And if you need anything, I am here to help you. So please don't hesitate. Send me a message, a DM, a PM. My details are on my website. There is a chat function over there as well. I'll often reply to you via email though. So if you write something in the chat on my website, you'll often get an email back. Keep an eye out for that because I find the chat, I think it must go to spam or something in your inbox later. So do keep an eye out. But otherwise, have a great week, guys. This weather is going to warm up. Winter is going to be a distant memory soon. Well, we are in spring, but winter keeps bouncing back every couple of days. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.